So as I was saying, I lost you guys, but as I was saying, time, the most important thing you lose in toxic relationships is time. And time is the most important resource, because you can't rewind time. You can't get that time back. And we're human beings. So our time here on this earth is limited. I didn't say that to scare you, but I said that to remind you and to bring to your attention how important your time is. So in these toxic relationships that we are in with people that we should not even have talked to, we shouldn't even gave them our number, but we stretched it out to seasons and years longer than it should have been. We lost a lot of time. Now that you're abstinent and you're choosing to refocus that energy on yourself, to reassign it into yourself, to refocus on your goals for your future, to reestablish yourself, to reestablish your basically your foundation, because that is what we missed out on. That is what we put on hold. That is what we were stagnant with when we were running behind somebody who wasn't worried about us, or when we were putting all that energy into someone who was not putting that energy into us. Okay, or even though it still failed. So whatever y'all was doing, it still failed. So now you get to focus. Now you get to focus on you and focus on your goals. Not only you should be focusing on that, but also get some therapy, talk to somebody, get some healing, get some new knowledge. That is something that needs to be pushed to more often, to get some new knowledge and new wisdom, because that is the only thing that is going to help you to not fall into these situations or these situationships or these relationships that you never should have even been in the first place. That's the only thing that's going to keep you from continuing to fall into these things over and over again, is when you get new knowledge, along with focusing on your goals, along with realigning yourself, starting your new foundation, finishing that degree, getting a new job, getting a better job, getting into that new tax bracket, hitting your weight goals. You should be getting new knowledge about yourself, about things that you've been through, healing from past traumas, healing from different failed relationships, healing your mindset, changing your mindset of how you look at the world, how you look at relationships, how you even look at yourself. Because a lot of the times, or most of the time, or probably all the time, but you never want to speak in absolutes, but most of the time, the majority of the time, the reasons why you keep going through that cycle of different failed relationships, of being broken over and over again, heartbroken over and over again, it's a breakdown in the way that you see yourself. It's a breakdown in the way that you see the world and relationships around you. It's mindset issues, things that you have learned from maybe your parents or as a child, of course. It's things that you have learned or you've come to believe is true that's really not true. So this is your time to begin to unlearn some of that behavior. This is your time to figure out where this is coming from. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Is this something I should keep in my development process, or is this something that I need to let go of? This is your time to focus on your healing, focus on yourself, and focus on your healing. Gain new knowledge about the world, yourself, relationships. You see, this video in itself right now is the wake-up call, is the wake-up call for you about relationships. I'm not saying you get your relationship information from me, but I'm saying could be your wake-up call for you to go on a deeper journey and research relationship, research love, research how it's really supposed to be. Because I guarantee you, there's a lot of ideas in our head that we think that love and relationships are supposed to be, that it is not. A lot of people still thinking that we're supposed to be ride or dies and ride it out to the end and accept anything from anybody, and if you don't accept that, you're not a loyal person. That's not true. You see, that's a wake-up call in itself. A lot of people think cheating is a mandatory up and down in a relationship, is a mandatory part of ups and downs in relationship. That's not true. But these are things that even I myself, I had to unlearn it so I can be a healthier individual, so I can go about relationships healthier, so I can honor myself and treat myself with that self-love that I'm trying to explain to you that you need, so you can just live a better quality of life. It's about focusing on yourself, your goals, and focusing on your healing. Now, don't let me tell you about the clarity that I get with abstinence. It gives you clarity, because your hormones, because your spirit, because your mental, just your mind, okay, because of your emotions, it's not so tied up and wrapped up into something that is just so unbalanced, okay, because that's what these relationships do. You're unbalanced, you're unfocused. It's just a realm of not knowing, a lot of mixed signals. It honestly feels like you're at war within yourself. Like you're at war with how you feel and what you know, what you're thinking, what that person is telling you, but the actions is not following up. It's a whole kind of war within yourself. But once you finally break free from that war and you practice abstinence, which that person is abstinence will limit that person's access to your mental. Now you have more clarity. Not only you have more clarity about that person, but you just have more clarity about yourself and the world around you. So the clarity comes from, the clarity I'm speaking of is you have clarity to see that person for who they truly are. Now, again, I recommend abstinence. I recommend a time of not even dating, so you can focus on yourself. But the clarity with abstinence, if someone was to come into your life after your healing process, and sex is off the table, you will be able to recognize that person for who they are, and you will be able to read their actions for what they are, because there is something about sex, especially with women. When you are having sex with somebody, you tend to overlook the things that you should be taking very seriously. Come on, let's be honest right now. This is what we call the red flags. The red flags are things that we need to take seriously. And if we could be honest with ourselves, if we took those red flags seriously in our past relationships, we would not have been so strung out. We would not have been up the creek without a paddle. We would not have been as broken and hurt if we took what we saw seriously and ended those situations when we should have ended them. But our problem is, because we were into sexual activity with somebody that we weren't married to, that we didn't even know like that, it gave us a sweet spot. We turned a blind eye to it, sugarcoated everything that they did. Why? Because there's something about sex that bonds you to that person, that changes how you look at that person, that changes how you think about that person, that gives you some kind of forgiveness and understanding on a different level for that person. This is why women rather fall out with their friend than fall out with their man, right? Because you don't have that sexual chemistry with your friend. So you're cool with falling out with your friend when your friend do something, when your friend do something off, right? But you really should forgive her, but you're not, but your man do crazier stuff on a crazier level to you, and you don't even want to fall out with him. Why? Because that sexual bond, that sexual chemistry, that almost forces you. It doesn't force you. You have control, but it's a strong power that overtakes you for you to overlook what that person is doing to you. And this is why you spend years of wasted time when you should have let that person go. But with your new clarity that you have through abstinence, you no longer have to go through that. You now have your power back. And with clarity, with sex being off the table, when someone does something to you that reminds you of what your ex used to do, because I guarantee you, if you're with the wrong person, if you're someone who usually chooses the wrong person, you're gonna until you find out, until you do that focus in the healing process, you're going to realize that you get involved with the same person over and over again. Different person, same qualities. And even when you heal, that is going to test you. You're going to be tested when you heal, and you're going to be introduced to that same thing that you used to fall for after you healed. And then you're going to be introduced to that same temptation. And the proof of if you have actually healed is you being able to say no or reject what you used to say yes to. So don't get me wrong, you'll still be faced with that person. But even if you're not over your healing process, that same type of person you're used to dating, that same kind of person that probably has come to you over and over again, has been this cycle. But this time, with your clarity, you'll be able to see those red flags for what they are. You're not going to make excuses for them. You're not gonna be as tolerant of that. You're gonna say to yourself that this is not what I want for me anymore. I'm gonna believe what I see about this person. I'm not gonna make excuses for them. I'm gonna believe what they tell me. And when I say believe what they tell me, I'm not even gonna say that. Scratch that. Just believe what they show you. Okay, believe what they show you, because people could tell you anything. All right, people could tell you anything, but you have to believe what they show you. No longer are you gonna allow words to not match up with actions, but that's what clarity does for you. And that's the clarity that comes through abstinence. And it will be much more easier for you to break it off. It will be much more easy for you to say, no, I don't want this, or no, I don't want to continue seeing you. No, this is over, when you don't have the bond and the connection that sex absolutely brings, that sex absolutely becomes of you when you have sex with that person. That bond, that connection, that high stakes connection that people try to deny and act like it's casual, but it's not. Because you took that off the table, you no longer have to be under the influence of that, and you can now make the right decision. It will be easier for you to make the right decision and let whoever go, because you don't have that sexual chemistry, that sexual bond. Great. So what did I say? You have your power back. You have focus. You have clarity. Those are major things in itself. That is almost everything in itself. That the power, the focus, the clarity. If that's not enough for you to practice abstinence, then I don't know what is. For me, the biggest part for me is I'm a Christian. See, God knew what he was talking about, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm a Christian, and I understand that God knew what he's talking about, because you don't think God knew all these three benefits that I just told you, the power that comes with it, the focus and the clarity? God already knew these things, but this is things that we had to discover, or I had to discover after I've done it the wrong way. But God knew what he was doing when he said no sex until you're married. Okay. But however, as a Christian, I feel I want to please God, and I feel like I want to please God. So in order for me to please God, I have to abstain from sex until I am married. Okay, of course I fell short of that, but because I no longer want to fall short for that, because I've developed an even stronger relationship with God, this is where I want to be. So if that's not the basis for you, okay, but that's not, you should explore it. Definitely explore God. God loves you. God loves you so much. And it's not about religion, it's about the relationship you have with him. And through that relationship, he does have standards for our lives. But through that relationship, through your discovery with God, if you choose to go on that journey, you're gonna learn that a lot of things that God asks of us is for our own safety and security. And this is what I've learned that abstinence does for me. Now I was going to say one more thing. Let me see if I can remember. So I said power, I said focus, I said clarity, but I said clarity on the person that you're interested in, or the person that's interested in you. Clarity within yourself. When you there's a clarity in my goals that I see that I have. Even when I'm, writing out my goals, or I'm reviewing them, going over them, there is a clarity and a confidence that I also get with those goals. And I do believe that it comes through abstinence, and just a clarity with the world around you. I'm telling you, being in certain these these failed and toxic relationships, they mess up, they skew the way that you see yourself. And if the way that you see yourself is not right, the way you show up in the world is not going to be right either. So the clarity that you get with abstinence, you'll be able to see yourself after your healing. Probably it has to be after your healing. You'll be able to see yourself for the value that you have, the potential that you have, and you'll be able to show up in the world confident in that. And that's the clarity that you'll have. You'll be able to see your greatness. You'll be able to see your goodness, your good attributes, your talents, your gifts. Why? Because it's not being overshadowed by all the insecurity, okay, or insecurity, or then just the negative energy of a situation that you're attached to that you're not even supposed to be in. Okay, you get to see yourself for who you truly are. You get to see your value. And when you see your value in yourself, you show up in the world different. You show up in the world more cool, more confident, more feeling like you're able to do anything. You're aware of your gifts, your talents, your abilities, your potential, especially when you spend that time with God and God begins to reveal those things in you. That's a whole different level of power in itself. You feel like you're extracting from a supernatural power that you didn't have all by yourself. That's the benefits of God right there by itself. But again, that abstinence journey, this is what it shows you. Like, it's been amazing, and I would not trade it for nothing. Again, another thing that I would not trade it for nothing. You just feel pure. If you're a Christian and you're doing this journey, I know that God is a very forgiving God. So when we make mistakes, when we mess up, yes, you'll be forgiven, even though there's still consequences of your actions, because we live in the world, and this is a natural body, so there's going to be natural consequences. But as a Christian, if you are abstinent before God and you're trying your hardest to live righteously, there is a confidence that you get in knowing that you have kept your body pure. That's another thing in itself. Pure. You feel pure. Even if you're struggling with God, you don't feel like a Christian. There is a purity that you feel. And I know that even if you're not a Christian, you're going to feel the purity. You're going to feel like it's like a cleansing. It feels like you're clean. It feels like a cleansing of yourself that we need. Okay, cleansing of those past issues, a cleansing of those failed relationships, a cleansing of the childhood trauma. If you actually go on and do the work, and you do the work to overturn the effects of what it had on you, a cleansing, and you're cleansing yourself to get yourself ready for your next level as a person. That's who you are, but also getting yourself ready for the right person, which is who we obviously want to end up with. That's not the ultimate goal. Another person, a marriage, a relationship is not your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is to be your best self, but obviously we desire relationship as well. So you're cleansing yourself for that next part. All right. And that next part can start off on a clean slate. But it's up to you to understand that value, to understand the value of abstinence, to understand the value of yourself, which is why you become abstinent. So you can have that clean slate, so you can start everything brand new, and you can make some new decisions because of the new knowledge, the new wisdom, and the new relationship with God you have formed. So it's up to you guys. I actually have a final exam to take. I should have been gone on the way in the house, changed to my gym clothes on the way, but I just had to get this message out because I feel like it's so important for me to share my journey with you, because this is exactly what I'm doing right now in my life, and I see the benefits, and I want other people to experience this as well. So I'll see you guys later. Love you guys. Bye-bye.